so much for being here again. I don't know. I just said that. Hey, no, guys. So seriously, we got a new guest today. His name is Stetson. Everybody, give a round of applause for my boy Stetson, because he is a good man. He's a very, 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 very talented artist, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy for you to be here, my man. How you been?
I'm solid. I'm glad to be on the show. Things are actually going in a very positive direction for me because of my most recent performance that you got to come see. So.
Dude, okay. So yeah, check it out. He's like a one man play. It is so cool because I've never seen one. I've never been to any of those.
I've never made one.
You never made one, dude. It was so cool. It was so, because it was like, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be like a giant play or something. Now it was just like a little small play, and it was like, okay, I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting, and it really was. And I was good, man. I really was really proud.
Honestly, I feel bad because you missed out on like the craziest parts,
dude. So the problem is that I overwork. I work a lot, you know. Yeah, I hear you. And so I had to get certain videos out, and I stayed up till like 1 a.m. trying to get that out, and I had to work the next day. So it was pretty rough, and I'm sorry I couldn't finish.
You weren't the only one, and we already have people asking us for a second showing, and we're already looking for other venues to help us bring it up. So when we have it again, of course, I'm going to let you know.
Thank you. I appreciate
and we'll always let you in with like either a free rate or a discount rate since you tried to make it to the first one.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, man. And dude, I do want to say this to you, Stetson, and I never get invited to anything. So lately, I've been like, I got invited to, like, for example, CJ Scott's little art
event, yeah.
And then Roman invited me to his, and he just personally invited me to, like, you know, his art show. And then he invited me to his Fright Night. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, he sent those messages to me. Hey, this is the Fright Night. You go. And I was like, okay, you know. And then I left early on those too because I'm doing this, and and then you sent me your invitation, and I appreciate stuff like that because I never get invited to anything. I never get. The only thing I get invited to is like sit down and drink a beer at someone else's house, and I'm just like, man. I mean, can we? It would be nice. In my mind, I'm thinking, man, I would be nice to get invited to something, but ever since doing this, you know, you kind of have to be social. And these people have been inviting me to stuff, and you invited me to your little play, and it means so much to me. But I was sad because yours was one of my favorites. Because, dude, I'm a very odd person. Okay,
me too.
I'm a weird person because, like, I'm like a weird nerd, but I'm a jock at the same time. So, for example, I like football, I like basketball, soccer, all that stuff. But I like plays. You know what I'm saying? I like plays, bro. I like art. I like going to museums. I like all that cool stuff, outdoor stuff. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever get invited because I don't like going alone. And then, like, little art stuff like what you did, it was so good. Again, I don't get invited, so I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me. That, you know what I mean? And it was really good. I wish I could like invite everybody next time for all you guys.
Yeah, everybody's invited to the next showing.
Yeah,
I was nervous debuting it because it's very raw, vulnerable material that I put into it. There's so much to go into what you talked about. So first of all, most of the invites were very personable. Most of the invites were sent to people individually that I wanted there. As a matter of fact, most of the invites that I could think of sending were when I was like scrolling social media and like Facebook exclusively, people would make these posts complaining about the workforce or the political atmosphere. And then I was like, come to my show. My show is built for you guys. And so that's sort of what it's about. It's about this sort of one-man play that's voicing my discontent with some of the things that I see going on with the world. And I built it. So it's called Empire of Ash, and I built this entire screenplay. It worked as a one-man play, but it could work with more than one person. I didn't even expect to get voice actors.
Oh, those are so good.
Yeah, and so I managed to get 2 voice actors, and then I did some of the voice acting myself. So I was really proud that I wasn't just talking to myself the whole time.
I was just so impressed because Braden, you know, Erratic Soul, you know, one of them, he was like, I'm in that. I was like, really? And I hear his voice, and I was like, hey, bro, that actually really sounds good.
Yeah, he did pretty solid. I'm not going to lie. I was very happy.
Him and the other guy, what was his name?
Thomas Grimes.
Not shout out to you boys, Thomas Grimes and
Braden. That made the credits. Yeah, they sure did.
They are good. That was good.
So... Again, something you touched up on, your previous guest is how I found you, is because I'm friends with CJ Scott and Danny and Roman, and we're all in the same scene. Oh, nice. And we really kind of got to meeting each other I met Danny through CJ, but I knew CJ through Brian and then met them through Roman from the Fright Night. Roman
Cool.
knew me because I was performing Fright Night when it had its old host with Kat.
Okay.
And then it went over to Roman, and I had this really big show back then too. And it was half the size of this. It was called Dead Man's Tale because the shows was about like the tale from a dead guy.
Okay.
Which I thought was fun wordplay. But essentially, that one was sort of the same concept as what this is. So what this was these 8 different pieces that I've written. That some of them are poems, most of them are just spoken word, as you saw. And I strung them together and made a story arc out of them. And I did that twice. So the first time I did it was with Dead Man's Tale. And it was a 30-minute show, and it had like a narrator, and it was very horror themed. It had like these crows in the background and stuff. But there were also very similar themes where it still had like marching and some references to war. I don't know why that's always my material. But then we got into, I was making all these new ones, and I was like, well, this is too much to put into Dead Man's Tale now. So now it's time to make something completely new. I performed Dead Man's Tale at least like 3 times, all at the 806. And one time I just got like a whole standing ovation.
Oh, nice.
Like I had to, my favorite part about performing Dead Man's Tale was I had this moment where the ending is like this river current and it's very calm and soothing. And it's meant to de-elevate you after the intensity of the show because I make very intense shows. And I would just sort of take a moment to watch the audience and as they watched me. And I really kind of wondered how long it would take for them to realize it's over. And they never did anything. They were almost just like tranced until I was like, that is the end of my show. And then they would like be like, oh, like they would like wake up from it almost.
Nice.
That was really fun to do. I have a deep, rich rooted history in acting.
Okay.
So that started when I was like 13 or 12.
Okay.
I always wanted to be an actor.
Oh, nice.
And whenever I was acting in middle school, my middle school teacher like pulled my dad aside and was like, Stetson's different. Like Stetson takes this seriously and he's really good at it. You should look into getting him into like programs.
Oh, nice.
And then just so happened like a few years later, this one program came through called iPop. It's this company. And I heard they're still around, so you can look them up.
Okay.
But basically it's this national company who goes through these towns, and they went through Amarillo, and then they sent out these advertisements on the radio this was what was on the air on the time. This radio ad would come in. It would be like, hey, moms and dads, does your kids like all those Disney shows like Hannah Montana and Wizards of Waverly Place? Well, come on down to iPop, and then you'll get a chance to like audition to be on these shows. This is incorrect, but it was very much how it was advertised. It was essentially you come in there, audition, they assess your talent, and then they give you pretty much a bill.
Okay.
And you go out to LA with an exorbitant price, and you stay in a hotel for a week, and you compete on a national level with everybody else who signed up for the program. And then they put you in front of managers who were scouting outside of the LA area because they were tired of the silicone market, essentially. And so I did very well.
Okay.
At a national level, I was up against kids who've been doing this their whole lives, who came from families who were doing this, and I ended up getting like second runner up in every acting category pretty much, and it was the only time I ever won trophies in my life.
Nice. So you've been how many years have you been acting for?
Okay, so that was when I got started. So that was when I was like 13 or 14 is when it kind of started to end, and I remember being like, this is a whole story, but basically my father wasn't handling Los Angeles well. It was expensive, and we were out there for a long time, and my manager never sent me on an audition because he just kept saying I wasn't ready. I had to drop my accent or something, or I don't know what it was, but it ended up just like costing my dad way more than we could afford. It stressed him out. That stress kind of ruined it for me, kind of like made it where it was like, yeah, we can't handle this. And I don't know. I started looking into the career. I remember like 13, I was doing research into the career of acting and just seeing how unrealistic it looked. And even where like some of the stars from those Disney shows that I had before mentioned, where are they now? You know, Selena's doing pretty good, but like what are their co-stars like Justin and her little brother Max? Like we haven't really heard from these guys. I bet they're doing stuff, but we don't really know where they are. And so part of me was kind of just like, well, we're something a little more secure. Maybe I can go back home, reformulate this. You know, at 14 is such an early decision to make such a lifelong commitment. But to my dad, that's what it was this lifelong commitment. And that was stressful and other things. And so funny enough, I actually kind of related to the to the Hannah Montana show, because it was like this best of both worlds. It was like I wanted to be this actor, but I also wanted to go back home and go back to high school and go be a regular kid again.
Okay, so this was your teen years.
Yeah. So then I came back into Randall High School in the middle of, so that sophomore year, second half of sophomore year, and I was like a whole year and a half of credits behind because the homeschooling program that I got put in wasn't essentially regulated by the state. That's what the words I was looking for. Okay. And so whenever I went in there and was like, oh yeah, I did homeschooling for a year and a half that I was in LA with this program my dad bought out of this bookstore or something like that. They were like, we don't know what that is. You know what I mean? We don't know. You can go try to take a test and how good you do on these tests. And you covered zero of the material essentially. So good luck. So yeah, it was really rough. And so going back to high school, I was like really behind and I was treated like a bad kid just because I had so many missing credits. I had to go through summer school and the like kind of like classes they had in the outhouses where you had to catch up and where they kind of sent kids who were slacking behind in high school and stuff. And I was like treated a little differently. No. Yeah. Okay, I see. And they kind of looped into that group because on paper, it looked like I was a low performing student essentially.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. So that's my acting story, how I got back to LA. Then, oh God, it was like a week later, the theater group in Randall High School, the teacher was like, just grabs me and was like, you have such a strong stage presence, dude. And I was like, I was like, okay, fine, maybe for fun.
You're like, yeah, maybe.
Maybe for fun. If I'm good at it, I'm good at it. If it, the universe seems to keep always like grabbing me for it. And so then I did that. And then I got involved in like this high school toxic theater group.
Oh no.
That didn't really know how to leave like drama for the arts.
Oh.
And, yeah, it really just finally set this awful taste I already had a bad taste in my mouth from LA. And so then doing that, I was done. I was like, I'm going to go be a salesman or something, or some sort of like web personality.
Okay.
And that didn't happen.
Oh.
So it's sort of recently now, and I just turned 28 a few days ago.
Okay.
And
happy birthday. Happy
thank
birthday.
you.
That's right. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. Yeah. It's almost like every step I've taken away from acting has sort of been rough, like a misstep. And then every time I come back to working events, public events somehow, whether it be through my vlogging or my videography or providing media, doing lights or working them or literally performing them, those always go really, really well. And things start working out for me really well after that. So I'm trying to navigate my life to just be there because it seems to be where it works out for me.
Okay. So after all that, man, did you just start writing your own stuff? Or did you just kind of continue locally, or what'd you do?
Okay, so let's go back to Dead Man's Tale because I was talking about that. So I wrote that stuff whenever I was in this really dark time because of an abusive relationship.
Okay.
And I had just, like, it was COVID, like it was 2020, and we moved back to Amarillo from that whole mess. Yeah. And, my whole life had been uprooted, and then it got uprooted again because I lost my car, and then this toxic coworker / partner, don't do that with your coworkers, guys, just like completely wrecked that stuff for me. So then my financial security was over with, and I had totaled my car. And I remember I turned, like, I don't even remember how old I was. Must have been 4 years ago or 3 years ago. And I had turned, my birthday had come through again, and I didn't have a car, I didn't have a job. And I was losing my insurance because I was turning 26. And I was losing my insurance because I was on my mom's, because she kept it for me. And so I thought I was losing, like, my therapy as well. And I, this kind of had sent me over a really dark path. And I had made multiple attempts on my life after that. And then after that, I was like, well, that's not happening in the way I want to. And it got a lot more difficult after, failed attempts. So I was like, well, we got to do something else. And so I started just kind of like writing a lot of these thoughts that were sort of like mulling into my head. And I just wrote these pieces. They were just sort of therapeutic, almost like journal entries, you can almost call them. And And then I don't know. I just went to Amarillo College and I thought, well, I should bring this stuff to Fright Night because this is different. This is a level of horror that's different than what Fright Night typically get. Because when you think of horror, you're gonna like maybe you're gonna think of like the old classics like Freddy Krueger and Jason and whatever. I was a big fan of Van Helsing. I love I'm not a huge horror classic, but I understand the culture tropes. But for me, the horror that I find interesting is almost this sort of like real life horror, this sort of mental stuff or personable trials that humans go through every day, actually, that's actually scary. And talking about that stuff is a whole new level of bringing fear to Fright Night, essentially, for me. So that's why all my performances have never really been about like hack and slash or blood or graveyards or whatever. They've normally been more about like abuse and suicide or surviving self-hatred and things like that. Very real things that a lot of people go through that's very scary for people to go through.
Okay.
So, but anyways, so yeah, I wrote this story out of it. I went to FM 90. That's why I brought that up. And I did all this audio mixing and got the narrator and got this backtrack. And then I took it to the Fright Night at 806. And they were so gracious too, because this is a 20+ minute performance,
nice.
Which is what's supposed to be an open mic. Anybody can come and perform. So I did take a good chunk of their evening because I didn't know where else to take it.
Yeah.
And man, I got like a standing ovation.
All right.
And it was just very interesting. And so to fast forward us real quick into more modern times, I have pretty much lost my work. I'm unemployed.
Oh, no.
And I haven't really had anything to do other than my creative pursuits and my passion projects. And so my girlfriend has actually been fully encouraging that I need to dive like fully submersed into them because she knows that I could produce something great with it. And I did, nice. I feel. And she agrees. We both did. And so that's why I've been making Empire of Ash and working on my YouTube videos and my Twitch videos and stuff like that. But I'm also still trying to find work eventually.
Nice. No, it's super good, man. Very talented, man. I'm really happy for you, man.
Thank you.
I want you to keep doing what you're doing. And I want you to keep inviting me to whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I have friends that are like trying to be actors, but like I'm over here like after seeing you, I just want to be like, you can't beat Stetson, bro.
Oh, no. Honestly, we all need to help each other out because that was the issue is like we get back here and it's like, well, what opportunities are there for acting? And I really, like, it feels like until recently there were none. And now all of a sudden it feels almost overnight. It's like my eyes have been open to like all of these different ones. Because I don't know if you've heard of like, what is it, like Soul Production? Soul, S-O-L Production? Dude, they're doing all sorts of crazy stuff in town. I've been trying to hit them up and get with them. They've been getting actors and crews, and they've been working with that one guy that was in CJ's films, Austin.
I never heard of
him. And then again, I got casted in Whispers because of Empire of Ash, because CJ came to the performance, and then she had auditions the next day. I went to those auditions, man. My eyes weren't even open. I had like just black eyes, and I was like, "Hey guys," I was like, "I don't have anything prepared for this audition. My voice is gone from the performance from the night before." And CJ literally just looked at me and she's like, "You auditioned last night," and I was like, "Oh, good."
You're hired. Got the job.
Yeah, actually, that's kind of how it went.
Here, get your lawyer, sign here, date here. This is how much I'm going to give you.
No, it's a no budget film.
Oh, is it?
What's given is experience and love.
Oh, we love you, CJ.
We love you guys. And so that would be the same if anybody worked for my show. Thomas didn't even know he was going to voice act. I kind of had to loop him into it.
Thomas, okay.
Grimes. So we were talking about that. So Braden Reeves, Erratic Soul, was one of my voice actors. I helped make his music video, Funky Monster.
Okay, he told me about that. That's right.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It was my first music video. We had issues with audio syncing. I knew, like, I fixed it. I had fixed it, and then I sent him. I was like, dude, I fixed it. I got it fixed. I figured out why it was happening. And he was like, well, I already posted it. And I was like, oh.
No.
Yeah, so I was like, well, it is what it is.
No, I'm laughing because I had problems with when I had Danny's performance. It was supposed to be a 45-minute just kind of shoot and everything. I had so many difficulties in the very beginning. So whenever you brought that up, right, that's the first thing that came to my mind. I was like,
it's hard. It's so hard. And you don't really know what you're doing. So the hardest part really was accepting this like pill to swallow where it's like allow yourself to be bad in the beginning. Allow yourself to be.
Yeah. So everyone needs to understand that. Whatever you do, whatever you start, you're going to mess up. It's not going to be perfect. Keep doing it though. I promise you. Oh my God.
Our show had a lot of hiccups.
Did it?
Yes. So my girlfriend's tire went flat before the performance. So I literally changed her tire in costume, which was kind of funny because the costume was like a full military uniform. So I'm all outside and like looking like a soldier, like changing her tire. real kind, gentlemanly. And then what else happened? We forgot our blanket. Luckily, there was one there that we could use. It was like one of the first props we needed to use to open the show. Then we had a script, like a page of the script was stapled backwards, and I wasn't fully off of the script, so that kind of hung me up, and we had to kind of go back and redo it. And then we had a medical emergency. One girl passed out.
Where?
Like literally way after you left, right before the end, like hit the floor.
No way.
Well, she's fine and she's good, and I'm happy about that. But it scared all of us, and it sent the show into like a complete pause while we made sure that she was good. Essentially, so that was fun. Well, that wasn't fun, but that was fun to navigate through. We eventually got it all out. It went smooth, but there were still hiccups. And if I perform this again and a medical emergency happens, I'm really going to be scared that I wrote a new Hamlet. It's just a curse show, essentially. But anyways, nonetheless, we got through it, and people loved it, and the feedback was amazing. And it was what was really nice was it was small and it was intimate. It was 20 people, which I would love to have more, but for a debut that was still pretty much bare bones, it was just 20 people. And people feedback, the feedback they gave me, they really understood what I was doing, and they really caught some of the things that I left in there for them to catch, and I was very happy about that. And so I can't wait to bring it with other people.
Yeah, man, it's cool, man. I'm very happy for you. Kind of scared though. I did not know that whole situation that you just said right there. This was after I left.
Oh yeah,
and this was after everything was on. Was it during your little?
Yeah, it was in the middle of it. It was at the end of. It was at the beginning of Job Hunter, so we were right at the end.
Oh wow, that's scary.
So you missed a good bit of it. So you got up to Fish on the Line, and there was like an intermission. Everybody kind of went and had a snack and stuff. So here's some crazy stuff that you missed. Because you missed like the climax, essentially, is right after the intermission.
I know.
So we come back from the intermission, and everybody sits down, and I went into full combat gear. I had like the bulletproof vest and the helmet, and I like busted in, and I ran through the audience and was all like, move, clear. And I like took cover. And I had this whole audio go in where there was these explosions and gunfires and like the raid sirens going off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I had basically acted out a PTSD episode.
Okay.
And so a big part of this show was also, again, you heard me talk about it in my opening speech about how it was about dealing with PTSD and how I had brothers who went through tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and Iran, and they came home and had some pretty gnarly PTSD episodes. So I sort of reenacted some of that, and it went really good. I think honestly, CJ told me she cried from it, and then we lead into what is personally one of my favorites pieces in here. It's like a star dying, and it's essentially about how like heartbreak can feel so heavy and so intense that it's literally like the star inside you dies. And if you don't know, scientifically, when a star dies, it makes a black hole. And black holes, what do? They suck in everything, all the light and life of everything literally around it. And so that's sort of the statement of being in this like such a damaged place that your heart then turns into like this black hole. And in a more artistic perspective, it sounds so silly when you really kind of break it down to its bones. But I loved it. I thought it was really good. It has this sort of play on both poetic and science. And it even says that in the beginning. It says heartbreak feels like a dying star. I mean this poetically and literally. So that was one of my personal favorite pieces. And performing that felt very therapeutic to me too, because it was like getting to release this expression of sort of my own PTSD episodes and stuff like that. Sort of these things we hide. We hide these dark moments, these moments of weakness, these tears, these like shouting and frustration, these emotional outbursts. It's very embarrassing for people to have witness. And it would be for me too if it was in the moment, for sure. But with the show, I was able to sort of replicate it and then share it with people. And then have them sort of respond with this sense of empathy, which is kind of what everybody in those moments really kind of wants, is sort of this cry for help. As well, I think something that I've recently discovered is like not just being good at acting, but there's sort of a purpose to it, which helps me stick with it better. And so that purpose is that not everyone I've discovered easily feels their emotions, which is a weird concept to me because my emotions, like I have to almost like get them out from hijacking my car. You know what I mean? Like they can take control sometimes. And so that also helps me with acting because I don't have an issue with like how I'm feeling or expressing this emotion or and making it big. Because to me it already is huge. And I understand not everybody else has an easy time doing that. And with acting, it's almost like I'm able to take, like if you feel the way that this character is feeling, I can almost help you process that because I bring it up within you too, and you're processing it with this character whom you relate to, which his name was Private Smith, a bit of a self-insert, but I was like, the easiest way is to just make him, give him my last name. And as well, it could, it have inserts with things that I dealt with my own last name being Smith. In the beginning lines, he says, the drill sergeant's like, Smith, well, then that confirms it. You're nothing. You have a very generic last name. Not always things I've run into, but I have felt, very much played down in my life, treated like you can be lesser of something, being kind of small as I am, or looking as young as I am. Because a lot of viewers, if I didn't say I was 28, I bet a lot of your viewers would think I was probably 22 or just like 20. And so I get treated often that I have about only 20 years of experience in life. When in reality, I've got a little bit more than that. So I have dealt with this sort of undervaluing of other people and sort of having this internal battle of like, well, what is my value? Even though it's so common for people to misjudge my age or my experience or me. So I that's what I find is the good purpose for doing all of this is to help people feel essentially like things that they maybe if they're having emotional blockages with themselves. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I appreciate you doing all that. You know what I'm saying? You're making a big difference, my man. So keep doing your thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really like your stuff, man.
Yeah, we had vets reach out to us and say they really approve of the show. Some of them, for sure, as far as the concept goes. And then the uniform, the combat gear, the helmet, all that was donated by Mr. Grimes, who ended up being one of our voice actors.
Nice.
He didn't even know. He came over to drop off the uniform, and we were going to do a fitting to see if it looked good on me. I didn't even know I was going to have a costume making this show. And so it's insane what it turned into within just the last few days.
Nice.
And but he sat down and I was like, well, hey, just check out the script. Like, well, I really wanted to show you the script. I'm so excited. And also like go over it, make sure it's realistic. Cause I don't have personal military experience. I just grew up from a military family.
Okay.
And so I wanted to be so respectful and accurate.
Yes.
And I had him look it over and he kind of like changed a few things. And he's like, oh, I would say this a little more like this and all that. And then I was like, I like put the mic in front of him. I was like, well, how would you say it? And he eventually, I just kind of like snuck him into voice acting for me.
Oh.
And yeah, he ended up doing it. And he was really nervous about it. He kind of realized what was going on. And then he was like, oh my God, my voice is going to be playing. I was like, no. By the time I'm done editing this and all the layering goes in with it, you're going to be good. Like, you're going to sound great. And at the end of the day, it worked really, really well. And I'd never done this level of production because I wrote all this, but then it was like 5 full days of audio mixing and then working out the storyline. And then my girlfriend ran the light cues. Yeah. And then we got the voice actors and the props and all these different scenarios and how we were going to run this story. And I didn't even have all that done until literally like the day of the show.
Oh, okay.
And then it was finished fully. And then we still had issues with the lights because we didn't have Wi-Fi available, so the lighting cues weren't there for you.
What was supposed to be what was supposed to be that lights part?
So the lights would change. So like when it's like a star dying, like she was gonna do like this white light and then make it flicker, like literally like a star kind of like losing its light or something like that. Or like at the end of the show when it gets like really dark and like sinister. That she was going to do like these deep reds and stuff like that, but it ended up just being this white light because we didn't have Wi-Fi to run the cues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there were these hiccups, but it still went really, really, really well.
Yes.
And the next performance, I want it completely, fully finished out. This was sort of like bones and muscle, which I thought I was just going to have bones to offer people. So next time we're going to have it fully fleshed. I really thought the show was going to be me reading these 8 different pieces while you guys just sat there and watched me and maybe worked on some art that I provided to keep you somewhat multi-engaged, because I thought it was going to be that boring and low production. And I know, right? And then by the time we had gotten to the day, I was like, man, we had bought these art supplies to give people to sort of have something to fiddle with while I read to them. And then instead, like, we have a whole show. Like, don't even worry about that part. Let's just do this. And again, I was very happy with it. I was told by people that they were incredibly proud of it.
Oh yeah.
And if there's any of these pieces that you wanted to go over or talk about, I'd love to share with them. I wouldn't go over the whole show for sure, but because that's like, it's literally an hour and a half for the whole performance. Even just the 8 pieces,
We got time,
would be pretty long.
We got time.
But I have some from both my shows we could probably share, and I have some that aren't even in the shows that we could also share. So anything that looks captivating or that you want to talk about. As far as these shows, as far as the works.
No, nothing. Oh, not on that show. But do you have any more shows you're going to do coming up? You're doing anything here pretty soon? Like, we're already working on this new project we're going to do here pretty soon. Are you doing any right now?
So I have a few projects going on. So I have this, and I want to get Dead Man's Tale out there too, because it deserves its own little like private performance as well.
What is this one called again?
This is Empire of Ash.
Empire of Ash.
This is my second show. My first one's Dead Man's Tale.
Okay.
I need to get both of them out. We're looking for venues. We want to travel with it if it's possible. That's way down the line. My performer's name, which I go by Stetson. Most people in this town already know me pretty well.
Okay.
As Stetson, but I'm trying to work as a performer's name of Sir Sinister or Sinister.
Sinister.
Yeah. It's just a performer thing, and it also matches my initials, Stetson Smith, Sir Sinister, essentially. So, but where was I going with that? We want to put that around, and then I have my Twitch, which is also Sir Sinister, and then I have my TikTok, which is going to be my Twitch and my poetry, which is also Sir Sinister. My Instagram is Zodiac Wizard, which I thought about changing that to Sir Sinister, but I've had Zodiac Wizard for the whole. I have had that locked for a long time. I actually did change it, and then I immediately changed it back. I was like, no, man. And then so that's just more of my artistic stuff. And then my news vlog stuff, which is not Sir Sinister, that's High Plains Media.
Give me a sec, my man. We're going to go to break, and then we'll go and jump into that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get back.
Let's thank our sponsors, and then we'll get back to that. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank our sponsors of the video.
We appreciate those sponsors.
Yes,
absolutely. I am dead broke now that we paid all the bills. You know how that goes.
Yeah, straight up. Oh my gosh, bro, this economy is killing me.
Oh my god.
Even I have one of the best jobs in Amarillo. I have one of the best jobs in Amarillo, and I'm still broke.
Damn.
Because work is slow.
Really?
And I'm like, gosh.
You were talking to me about that. Did you want to talk about where is that? You didn't say if you're okay with.
Well, I can't really say where I work, but
okay. I got you.
It's a really good job. It's just one of those jobs where it's like, hey, do you want extra hours? And me, Mexican, Hispanic, hardworking, I'm all like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. But lately they haven't asked me because it's slow.
Man.
So it's like I can't make extra.
But you're still busy too. You got other things going on.
Yeah, so it's also a blessing because I need to not work too much, and I really need to focus on this and my mental health. Because one time I did that, dude, before I went to summer break. Actually, I'll tell you about this real quick. I overworked so much because it was like work over there, work many hours, come here, and no day off. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone needs at least one day where you just don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You at least need one of those. I didn't do that. No, starting in May, it was like, hey, I'm getting ready for my vacation to Florida. Send me to work as much as you can. On top of that, the Yellow City comedians, they tend to do I have specials with them, so they do 2-hour specials. They're just talking trash to each other. Love those guys.
Oh, they're tight, yeah.
Yeah, and then anyways, and then I started getting burned out because I was editing with a different computer, and it was real slow. And then and I was trying to keep it together while working so much. And then on top of that, my best friend's wedding was coming up, so I was just kind of overdoing it. I got to the point where I just like mentally, I was like, dude, I can't do this no more. And then I told the comedians, I was like, look, guys, I'm gonna upload your video. I'm sorry, it's gonna be a little later because it took 2 weeks for it to get out. And I was like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm kind of burned out right now. And so I finished it. And then I was like, I'm gonna take a break, man. I'm gonna get away from this. And then went to my best friend's. I went to his wedding, and then it was great. And then some stuff went down, and then this is why I'm very thankful, because like stuff went down.
At the wedding?
No, not the
okay.
wedding. This was just personal stuff, and then I was just sad. And then that's when I met Danny. We were at an open mic one day. She gives off positive energy that it's so hard to find here and there. But whenever I came across her that one day, that's when I was like, you know what? It wasn't just her though, too. It was like her and then the other comedians, and they were making me happy at an open mic one night. And then that's kind of when I was like,
Comedians were making you happy? That's good. I'm glad they did their job. I'm glad they were good comedians.
straight up. Nah, and then, everybody out there put me in a good mood. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And then that's when I approached Danny. I said, hey, listen, I'm on a break right now, but I like to have it in a podcast. And I want to do something special with that podcast since you're a musician. And she became, one of my top 3 musicians here. And we did exactly how I wanted to do it. You know what I'm saying? The whole lights and everything. Like, it looked like it was.
Oh, it looked good.
And I appreciate it, man.
I watched that. That was probably the first one that really got me in, like with like your podcast. And then I went back and I was like, oh, there's CJ. And I was like, oh my God, there's Braden. And I was like, oh, I gotta follow this guy now.
And I appreciate it. Yeah, but then that's kind of when I was like, that's when I thought, like, I'm thankful for what I do, and I'm thankful for the people I meet. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of when I was.
We're trying to build a community and all help each other out. So like you were saying earlier too, like if you're trying to be an actor, like don't be intimidated by my ability. Come work with me. I need voice actors. I need help. Me and Danny are already talking about collabing on the Fright Night for October, so we can both add our energies to it with these fun. And I've already been cooking up some stuff with that. And as well, we started off with complaining about the economy. That was actually another big reason why I made this show, was this discontent with sort of the things going on in place. And of course, I'm jobless, so I'm feeling this heat.
Yeah.
But it's been crazy. It's been since like I've stopped working since April, and I've been super busy since.
Okay.
Right? Weird. So I stopped working, and then I went full into my news channel, my vlog news channel.
Oh, that's right.
And I just like was hitting every event I could and constantly trying to crank out these videos. But with news, you want to like be super fast. Like you want that video out the day of or the day after.
Yeah.
The day after is still even not that good. And I was putting out videos like 2 weeks after the event, sometimes 3 weeks after the event. And I felt so bad about it. I felt awful every time it happened. But at the end of the day, I was sort of biting off a lot more than I can chew. I went from knowing how to do one aspect of this and then realizing I needed to know how to do all aspects of this. And so it's been a slow process to get out of the sort of embarrassing parts of it. But I'm finally getting there. I'm thinking about rebranding a little bit because I wanted it, because of where we live and how people are used to consuming their news. I thought it would be better to put on this suit and sit behind a desk and try to like pseudo set up a newsman personality that's all like, welcome back to High Plains Media News. Tonight we're talking about stuff and things. And so but it's very difficult. It's less genuine, and it works for an older audience, but they're not on YouTube. They often have issues finding me. But I knew that was going to be my first supporting audience because of my mom. And so always being like your number one supporter.
Oh,
so I knew the first people that were going to be checking my channel out were people in her range demographic. So I wanted it to be more narrowed for them, but that's just not where they're going to go check it out. But I've had a lot of support from people. So I've been rewatching these other YouTubers like Curtis Connor, and then Gabby Bell and like Chad and all these other people. They do more like just sitting at their computer and more kind of like comical personal style. And so I like that. And I got a press release for an event coming up that I am so excited to cover, actually. This guy is coming into town, and I believe he is a Democratic Texas representative, state representative, that's coming to town and talk about the works of theocracy that are happening in Texas right now. Essentially, that's a very real thing. Something that's been very concerning to me, and just like having my attention. So the fact that I got a press release to go cover him being in town, I'm so excited to make that video.
Okay. I was about to say, calm down on the politics, buddy.
Oh yeah, no joke. But anyways, well, I think that he'll be a very interesting listen to. And I mean, it's a very political year. It's 2020, so it's why I think this show was also really good as well. Was sort of this complaining about it. Some of the things that are happening. And with High Plains Media News, I do cover political events. We covered the ordinance that came through town that was the Sanctuary City stuff. If you want to learn about that, you can go to my channel or look into anybody who's been covering that. And that was a big deal. But I love doing the fun events. Genuinely, I really would rather do the fun events. If I'm doing something serious, that means there's something happening that I don't like, that I'm going to go cover and bring attention to. But our best videos has been when me and my girlfriend do our vlogs at YC3 and Bad Magic, which I got Remy to send me his song Bakersfield to put with that, which was awesome. Which those were really fun vlogs. It's really fun if you miss these events and you were like, what happened? What did it look like? You can always go back and check it out. Let's say you were there and maybe you got caught in the video in a background or something like that. It's really fun to go back and kind of be like, oh, there I am, or there's my dog. Shout out Drake. I got your dog Goose. He was great. I love it a lot. And then as well, a personal experience that helped me realize the value of doing that, like the purpose with that. So when I was at Amarillo College, I was employed with a Ranger as their videographer. Okay. And I created my own show there too. Nice. Called Student Life Live, because I don't take over anything. I just make my own stuff, and then nobody can tell me what to do. And so I essentially went and to like the school's events, like their Badger Bash or their Fall Fest or their Spring Fest or whatever the school events were putting on, I would go and cover it like man on the street and be like, hey, tonight we're at Fall Fest for Amarillo College. I'm with Anthony here. Like, what are you enjoying, man, or something like that. And you can still find those. It's called Student Life Live. Those were years ago as a very young Stetson. And but that's where I got my start with doing stuff like that. And I loved it. I was essentially like a little marketer for AC. And I even had the vice president of student affairs. I can't remember her name right now. But she came up to me and thanked me in person for doing that for the school, essentially. Didn't get compensated for it, just essentially worked. And then so I started doing that with High Plains Media, where I go to these events and I'm like, hey, we're here on the street. We're talking to people. Oh, and yes, this is why I was bringing this up. So I got this interview with this guy. His name is Christian. And then years later, way after I graduated AC, he unfortunately passed away on a trip. Yes. And I didn't know him super well, other than I think I knew who people were talking about when I heard this news. I went up to AC to go just visit because it's like a safe place for me, and I have professors and friends there that I still keep in contact with. And one of the professors was very upset over this man's passing. And I was just kind of like, who is it? I think I know who this is. I'm pretty sure I got him in a video, and I did. And I pulled up the video and the clip, and I was like, is that him? And the professor had an emotional moment because that was the first time she heard his voice since, essentially. And it was a little embarrassing in the moment. I was like, oh, I made my teacher cry. But like in the end, it was like, well, his family or anybody who's missing him or anybody who would literally just like to hear him talk again could go find that video in that small spot, and where I'm asking him a really bad joke question about like what's in these buckets where they're playing this game. But at the end of the day, you could still hear him, and you could still just like listen to him talk to me. And I thought that was a big deal. It was like really capturing these memories. You never know like what you captured and how valuable to get later on when those moments are really just the small things people have left to remember them, be it people or the places.
Yeah. Man, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool vlogging and all that. I thought that's all you did, to be honest. I was skeptical of you when you first came on. I was like, maybe he's just a vlogger. Oh, well, I'll bring him on. No, he goes above and beyond.
I do like to chat it up. I'm a bit of a video creator, just a blogger. But
you don't put all this on Facebook? You don't do that? Because that's what most.
Yeah, I need to start working with that. Yeah,
that's what I'm gonna do here pretty soon. I'm gonna open up a Facebook, and Amarillo wouldn't know who I am and my guest. But I don't know if you want to try that. That's where all the old.
Actually, that's where everybody actually told me to go, because some person was like, I don't ever get on YouTube. I didn't even know you were. He was like, I was subscribed to you, but I never get on YouTube. He's like, so I am starting the rebranding I'm doing. I'm gonna start posting straight to Facebook. Yeah. I was trying to send all my traffic into one area, but it would actually just be so much smoother, more organic on Facebook. You're right, or Instagram with the reels and stuff. So yeah, we're probably gonna do a full rebranding of that. But I do love my vlog style videos with the Stetson in the street, because those are a lot more fun to produce, and I can normally get them out a little bit quicker because of that. Unless something important happens, then I'll like put it on the back burner so the important stories come first. I don't know. I just didn't really like the idea of everybody getting their news from TikTok and stuff like that. And a personal frustration for people my age. I'm a very well-informed person, and a lot of people my age are so busy just grinding and starting life up for themselves, and they're still kind of hitting that stage where it's like, I don't really know what all this political or like economical stuff is. I don't know where to begin, and I'm busy essentially. And it was very frustrating to try to vent to my peers about my discontent with the world as it is. And before I could do that, I have to inform you of about 10 different things so you can understand what's upsetting and why we should be upset about it. And it's just like, that's exhausting, when really all I wanted was just a vent. You know what I mean? And it's sort of like, you know what I mean? Would you ever go to a therapist or a doctor and be like, I'm having this problem, this huge wound here, this issue, and they're like, what's that? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to open up to you about this anymore. And I felt like I had nowhere to go for this, which is also kind of what created this show, is I finally had somewhere to put it and then somewhere to take it. So yeah, if you ever wanted, we could probably pick a piece and share from this. But did you have any questions or anything about all that?
No, I just wanted to say that it's amazing. I wish it was video formatted and all that.
We're going to work on that too. With the Sinister stuff, so that was my High Plains Media. With the Sinister stuff, it's more my artistic pursuits. We're going to make videos of all these poems, everything I've ever written.
Nice.
They're going to be simple at first, and then if things pick up, which I hope they do, we're going to make them more intricate.
Okay.
I tried starting with making them more intricate because I always have this elaborate idea in my head. Even making this, I see like this screen play of it, and I'm only able to bring out so much. So we're going to keep building and building and building off of this. Heck so yeah. I'm going to go and share one of them. I'm going to try to share a shorter one. And I've got a few writing pieces. So this is my writing. So if you like this, you might like some of my works. You can always look me up, look into my events. Let me find it. It's 8 different pieces. So again, this one I said was a personal favorite. I talked about it a lot, so let's go ahead and read it. This one is called It's Like a Star Dying. It was during the climax, a very emotional part of the show. The way I performed it is not how I'm going to read it. I'm just going to kind of read it for you guys.
Okay.
Going through immense heartbreak feels like a dying star. I do mean this quite literally and poetically. There's a certain weight on your chest. Saying the walls are closing in isn't good enough. It's like your heart got caught in a magical steel sphere. And that sphere is getting smaller and smaller. Your heart senses this and rushes with anxiety, but that doesn't stop it. The sphere only gets smaller, and you begin to feel a physical discomfort in your chest as it's all closing in, but that doesn't stop it. The sphere gets even smaller, and the pressure is so intense, you clutch your hand over your chest and fall as it now grows heavy and carries a weight that you can no longer bear. But this does not stop it. The sphere closes in even more until the pressure is so intense, tears pour out of your eyes, your face on fire with anguish. You feel that this will literally crush you, that your heart will explode. But that does not stop it. You, the star, explode. You fragment and send a shockwave out into the cosmos, rupturing everything, an audible experience, a furious and frustrating why? Why? Why didn't you call? Why didn't you stop? Why didn't you know better? Why did they do that? Why did this happen to me? Why? But that still has not stopped it. You are left with a dead star in your chest, a black hole. That is one of the heaviest things recorded in the cosmos, right here, right inside of you. And its pull is so magnetic and strong that it'll suck in all light, all of everything around you. But does that stop it? There you go. Thank you.
That was good, my man. That was really good.
So what did you think of that?
That was so good. That was powerful, man. That was really powerful. Do another one. I want to put background music.
Okay, I heard you. So that's a literal physical sensation of heartbreak that I go through. I don't know if everybody feels it the same. You know, emotions manifest differently in different people. But for me and anybody who feels this as well, is literally kind of like a chest pain. And so that talks about that as well. And as well, sort of this process of falling into, you know, the self-hatred and things like that. And this essence of like, does that stop it? Does that stop this pain? And it ends with a question, essentially, where it's like, well, finally, after doing all this and becoming destructive about it, does that finally make it quit? You know, it begs the question. Sometimes I've had moments where it does. It's almost like this venting does help, essentially.
Yes,
release that tension and pain. But at the end of the day, you're still grieving over whatever you're grieving over. And the reactions are just sort of to like keep it from becoming this bottled up thing. But it doesn't change what it is that is so upsetting. So I really like that piece and I love performing it. The next one. I'm not too sure which one to do next. Leaving on a jet plane is so good, but there's like an audio that goes with it that it like just makes it even better. All right, screw it. We're gonna do it. If you ever hear this one live with the audio, this is one of my favorite pieces from my other show, Dead Man's Tale. This was sort of the climax for that piece too. I guess I just like the climaxes. And so this one's called Leaving on a Jet Plane. It's a reference to the John Denver song.
Okay. I'm putting background music.
Okay.
I'm putting just ambient music.
It's pretty intense, actually.
Go ahead.
So when I play it with the audio, like everybody's in the audience, their legs were like shaking. Okay. And I did it for Braden in private just to show it to him, played it with the audio. And even he was like, I have so much anxiety after you did that. And that's sort of the point of the show. The point of this piece, Leaving on a Jet Plane, is exactly that, is essentially being stuck in the spiral of anxiety. So here we go. My body is a jet plane, my consciousness in the pilot seat, but I am not soaring. In fact, there is a critical engine failure. The instruments are all spinning, and there is a loud alarm telling me to eject, eject, eject. I look up out the window to see a spinning, blurry vision of the ground coming closer and closer. I am desperate to listen to this alarm. With this much evidence, with this much speed, with this much force, I am going to crash. I am full of fear and panic as I desperately try to eject, but the eject won't work. I'm strapped in by safety straps and society telling me to stay. Don't eject. Don't go. We want to see you fly. Society is the onlookers, and in the strange moments of clarity, I understand that sometimes you don't fully understand that this plane is going to crash just by watching. There is so much disbelief and denial as they stand motionless, watching the fall. So I'm stuck, spinning, rapidly falling. The G-force is so intense, I can barely hold my head up anymore. I think, is this my fate? Doomed to watch my fall, my ultimate demise coming from afar as it rapidly approaches. As I cannot leave this plane. If the crash itself does not deliver me to death, the inferno surely will. My only real hope now is not to fly, but to hope that there are witnesses to this crash. The fireball of awakening, stirred from your motionless and helpless eyes. You will run to the fire. You will run to me when I am dead, and you will run to a funeral. But none of you could run to this fall and stop it. Why in God's name would I have ever hoped or expected a hero? That's all that seemed to be able to save me now. Fantasy.
Woohoo! That came up.
Yeah, okay. It's an intense one. It was a delayed reaction. They had to process it.
That was so good, but the music. I tried not to laugh because like, oh, this is going really good.
Yeah, no,
it was
okay.
good. It was good though, my guy.
Thank you.
One more time, guys, please. A lot of applause, my man. Thank you, Stetson.
I hope everybody likes it.
Oh god, that's gonna be clipped for sure. Well, one of them.
So that's those are single pieces. The first one was from Empire of Ash. The second one was from Dead Man's Tale. Mm-hmm. I have other pieces that don't fit in with the show. I have one more that's sort of like free. It doesn't have a show. It's just sort of one I wrote, and I didn't have a place
Are you sure
for
you
it.
want another one? I don't know if I'll put music again. That was funny.
Okay,
it
you
was
can.
Good. It was so good. I was like, this matches. And then you had finished as soon as the song was fading away. And
Oh really? Oh wow. Nice. See, it's just like the intuition of an artist.
This is how poetry should be. But what they told me one of the guys, I won't say what group, but they told me that poetry hits different whenever you memorize it. You know what I'm saying? It hits different without looking through your phone, without looking. It's just straight. That's when it means. So that's what they recommend.
I mean, yeah, that would be the best thing. Your performance as an actor is always going to be better off script. That's why nobody has their script on. But you know, like for a one man show that's an hour long, and again, I was still working on the audio and the back parts of the show that I couldn't quite get off the script. And then I haven't performed Dead Man's Tale in a minute. I would have to just remember it. It would be very powerful to have it just like boom, there it is. For sure, but part of me also just like I don't want to miss a line because every line is just has intention. So, but I don't know. Everybody's a critic. People can be very prestigious with art. But if I was to perform it live, I would like to get off my phone doing it because I have kind of been stuck in that.
Yeah. You gonna do it? Go ahead, do it. I'll put a song on.
Okay, well, last one for now. This one I wrote off of another one. That was a poem called.
Is it a long one? Is it a long one?
Not too long, no.
Okay.
Not too long. The poem I based this off of was called "My DNA Results Came In" by Fred Lemoyette. Very good poem. I almost thought about reading that, but I also made this one that's sort of like my own version of that. It was played off of that. It's got a lot of like Eastern references.
Okay.
So this one's a little more Western. Okay. This one is the meaning of my name. I just looked up what my name meant. One definition of my name says that I am strong, cunning, and dreamy. But another said that I was small, confused, and delirious. So I looked further into the history of my name and found out that in one land, my name was associated with a renaissance of light. But in another land, my name was given to the herald of darkness. In one land, my name was given to kings that were dressed with glamour. In another land, my name was a slur of hate to strip away humanity and grandeur. I looked into people I share a name with. I share a name with a hero. I share a name with a criminal. I share a name with prophets, and I share a name with devils. I share a name with a whore who was stoned. I share a name with a rock that was thrown. My name means an experience with you, and yours are with me. And together, we have made a scene that was meant to be forever played among the stars for all to see.
We love you, Stetson.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you so much for being on here. So, Stetson, let me ask you this question now. What's next? What's your future? What are you going to do now? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are you going to invite me to? Hey, Brian, so we're doing a play. Come on. I got you VIP spots. I'm like, oh, really? No. That's a joke.
Yeah, we might actually. Yeah, we might.
That last part was a joke, man.
You could come and like bring a camera and get clips, and then we'll come back on the podcast, and then you'll be like, "Dude, look at these clips from the show where he was." Actually, that would be a good idea.
I would like to. Yeah,
We're gonna take this. We're gonna take Dead Man's Tale. We're gonna be taking it places. We're talking to Kalichi. We're talking to 806. We're talking to. I haven't talked to them yet, but we're gonna try talking to High Fidelity and just anybody that will take the show. And you're all invited to come watch. I really would love more people to come out and check it out. It's a unique experience for Amarillo. It's hosted by local artists. It's organized by local people. CJ said she's going to help me out. And then bringing up all these friends today. We love you guys out there that's helping make all this happen. And we're going to put it on video. For anybody who's out there who can't make it to Amarillo or see us in person, I get you. And we're going to make videos for you to go back and listen to. And I appreciate this because at least 3 of my works are getting on video already, essentially. And I essentially just need to do that. I need to set up my studio within my house and just get the ball rolling with that. And I'm going to be kicking up High Plains Media again. So always follow that. If you have an event and you want media, contact me. It does not cost anything. I don't make you pay me anything to be there. I just show up, do my thing, then make a video that you can share, and I'll interview the organizers, and I give you so much more like interview time than the news. I worked for the news. You get 15 seconds. That's it. If you got more than 15 seconds, you said something awesome and or really important. And so with me, you get whatever I like, whatever I feel like that was good. And I like that she said that. I'm going to give you that time and that voice, because that's also a purpose between my news channel, is that I want to help those who are not public officials that easily get heard, that are always seen and in front of the microphone and have this like position. I talk to them because they're impactful people in this community. But what's more important to me is getting people, like everyday people like me and you, getting their voices out, their opinions out and shared, and giving them real time to share it instead of just 15 seconds and only hearing from some official. In all my videos that are news formatted, the official person, the president or the mayor or whoever, he's at the end. And it's not because what he has to say isn't important. It's because to me, I'm trying to give a platform more towards the citizens, essentially, that don't get TV time or whatever. And so I've really enjoyed doing that. Working city council was crazy.
Yeah. And
interviewing the mayor was pretty impressive as well. Although I had to censor him saying the word pussyfoot. That was pretty fun to censor out for him. So, and then actually, funny enough, dude, I was at Bones Hook Park covering the memorial that they put in there, and for Matthew Bones Hook, and Tom Sherlin, the city councilman, came up to me and he was like, "I'm watching your YouTube, and you write good stuff, man. You're telling it like it is."
Heck yeah.
And I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "City councilmen are starting to follow." As a matter of fact, even some political people who are from out of town even approached me and were like, "We watched your videos."
Nice.
And
nice,
I was
nice.
I didn't like them. But either way, at the end of the day, I was like, "Oh, God." You. But it's all right, though. It's pretty impressive. But I put that on pause while I rebrand and work on the show. This show just took my whole essence for a week and a half. I just poured myself into it. And so we're going to do it again. It's going to look even better. And so that way, when you see it the second time, you're going to see it for what it was really meant to be presented.
Okay. All right, my man. And I appreciate you. And I
Yeah.
really appreciate you being on here. Dude, keep doing your thing. Invite me. If you're going to have another play, please let me know.
Everybody's invited.
I'll get a group going. Hey, let's go. Okay. Yeah. If you're going to go to a play somewhere in Canyon, let me know. I'll go with you. I don't have no friends that do that. You know what I'm saying? I love that stuff. I'm down. Like, I'm open-minded, so I like everything really. I like sports, but I like play stuff too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'll be very happy to.
You're talking about that. What's your favorite sport? Football or
football? Yeah, football, basketball, soccer.
Dude, just the community of it. Like when the football comes around, it's just kind of fun to watch. It's like fun to be involved. I don't get the teams. You know my favorite team? Did the uniforms look fly? I'm like, oh, dude, the uniforms on this team.
He's a Cowboy fan, guys.
Oh my god. Okay.
No, straight up, I like everything. I like the soft poodles, you know what I'm saying? But I like I said, I love arts. I love the plays. I loved your play, you know what I'm saying? Open mind. I like to just explore. I don't want to be just one category of things. I like to just look at all of it. I want to see it through all angles. Yeah. That's why I like plays too, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's very open-minded. That's very good. Yeah. Anybody who's open-minded and multifaceted that way, it's really a positive trait. It can only work out in your favor, I think.
Yeah, straight up. No, it's really cool. I'm very thankful. But anyways, my man, I really appreciate you being here.
Is that our time? Or are we out of time?
We're out of time.
Yeah. I feel like we're about to have that Midwestern goodbye, like that. Well...
We'll have you on, but we'll have you back on, my man.
It's getting pretty late.
You know what, dude? So you're gonna do something for October, huh?
Roman's talked with Danny about doing something for Friday night, and Danny, after literally the moment after my performance was over, came up and was like, "We need to collab," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm down." So we're gonna work together on Fright Night for October.
Nice.
We hope to put together something crazy cool. We haven't really talked in detail yet, but we're gonna do that.
So I'm doing something in October too.
Oh, heard.
Ooh, now it's gonna get wild because I am gonna need Danny and Roman, but it's just gonna be voice. But I won't speak on it now because I got to talk to. I have a guy on here that's very popular on my channel called Noah.
Okay.
And I have a video editor and. That dude, I gotta get a hold of him, but we're doing something big in October.
Are you saying you need voice actors?
As of right now, yes and no. But I'm gonna get with my video editor, and I'm gonna get with Noah, and then I'm gonna see what we can do. But here's the thing: we're trying to lead up to October 31st. I have no idea what I'm gonna do because I was my friend Noah wants to take this and go to a haunted house. I know. That's why I was like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, that's a bit of a logistical thing.
I know. So he's all like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I was even thinking maybe just a Halloween special. Just dress me up and then dress my guest up.
Okay.
And then do something like that. But we want to do something a little weird. So October, I think starting next month, I'm going to start getting everything ready for that. Push hard for September and get everything ready. And then when October comes is when... But I'm still going to keep the guests coming. You know, it's still going to be, a guest Friday, but like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday deal is going to be a little bit different.
Type.
Something. We're trying to work something. But whenever y'all said that, because I remember Danny and Roman said they're doing something for October. I was like, oh, yeah.
We're all just trying to make a good performance for Fright Night. Fright Night's kind of our home to just share all these writings. Roman heard all these before this got made because these all came out independently. Yeah. And then, like I said, I strung them into one big performance. Yeah. But before we wrap off, if you have an event that you would like media, contact me on my socials or anywhere with High Plains Media News or Zodiac Wizard or any of my works. And I will see what I can do about coming and covering your event and making a video. And then if you want my poetry, Twitch, performing, acting kind of stuff, my artistic talents, all under Sir Sinister on YouTube and other platforms, TikTok. And I haven't made an Instagram yet, but we'll work on that. And I was trying to think about that. And then you can just find me on Facebook, Stetson Smith. I'll be posting all my stuff through both of them through that. So if that's too much work, just find Stetson, and which is understandable. It's too much work for me. And as well, if you need voice actors or actors, please contact me. I would love to work with anybody. I love voice acting.
Heck yeah, man.
And stuff. And
erratic. I'm going to get erratic too. No, I'm like, I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do, but I'll get in touch with you if I do so. Okay. Do you have anyone, do you want to shout out to anybody? Do you want to say hi to who?
Just probably Ariel. Hey, Ariel.
Nice
my girlfriend. Ariel.
So
that show wouldn't have happened without Ariel. She did for real. Like the mermaid. We always make a joke. So I'm Stetson like the hats. and she's Ariel like the mermaid. And we're gonna make a conjoined brand logo that's a mermaid with a cowboy hat, kind of like like to the sailors and whatever. It would do so well, essentially. And but no, that show wouldn't have happened without her. She made the light cues. She helped me with she's so detail oriented, so she helped me like kind of like refine things, and she was like, well, make this make more sense. And she pushed me to make this and make this awesome. And so the show wouldn't have happened without Ariel. None of this work would have happened without Ariel. So love you. We have a very solid relationship. We're coming up on 2 years.
Nice.
In the fall.
Nice. Congrats, both y'all. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for being here. This is Stetson. We want to thank you all guys for being here.
Goodbye, everybody.
We'll see you guys next time.
Safe travels home.
Keep doing your thing, Stetson. Keep acting. Invite me. Whatever you're doing, invite me. We'll do it. I'll love to see you more. We can get inspiration out there. I don't care. Just keep doing your thing, man, and keep being a positive to this community. Okay?
Yeah, you too.
All right, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Boom.